to Friday. That's right. It's Friday. Now, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You guys, don't get started with your weekend yet. We've got another live broadcast prepared especially for you. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher. He's back from his one day of being gone because you had a prior commitment, and we're glad you're back, Jerry.
Thanks. Great to be back.
Yeah,
I tried. Huh?
You look like you have a halo over your head. I'm looking at, hey, folks, go on YouTube or Facebook.
Shows?
Yeah, it looks like Jerry has a halo over his head.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Jerry, are you in heaven?
I'm not sure. I almost went there earlier. I swallowed some water wrong and
Oh, wow.
started
Wow.
choking.
Well, don't leave us yet. We need you.
I think I've got my voice mostly back right now, but that was not good timing on that one this morning, Jer.
Oh, my goodness. Drinking that water can be tough, right? At our age? Yes.
Right.
Well, we have Ryan on the phones. This is our very, very active monthly show all about relationships. And Ryan's on the phones waiting to answer your call. We have Jeff on social media. And of course, we have our wonderful producer, Michael Birchfield. He's controlling everything. He's not behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz. He's out front controlling everything. So he can say to us, enough already. Stop drinking water, Jerry. Stop coughing, Debbie. Okay, he can say that, but he won't. He's too kind. But it's all about relationships. And we can talk about work relationships like I just shared about Ryan and Jeff and Michael, or we can talk about your personal relationships, with your spouse or your kids, your grandkids. We can talk about your neighbors, your parish, whatever you want to talk about. Anything and all relationships, they're on the table. We can talk about the good. We can talk about the bad and, of course, the ugly, but you have to call in at 833-288-3986.
Yeah, we are all such relational people, you might say. We're made to be in relationship with one another, and obviously with God. God, that's our first relationship. Maybe your relationship with God is not what you'd like it to be right now. You can certainly call in. We can talk about that. And Debbie laid out a bunch of other types of relationships as well. So the number is 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
And I'm so happy, and I'm really proud of myself in a good way that I didn't give the pledge drive number. I gave our show number. This is the final day that I'm one of the hosts of The Rock in Cleveland, the Spirit Drive, and you guys are doing great. You're hitting all the goals, and I think you're going to get to that overall full funding, which is great. And there's many Catholic radio stations around the country that are having their pledge drives right now. So when your local Catholic radio station comes to you and says, please, we are listener supported. Can you support us? Please step up and make a very generous pledge. And don't forget EWTN as well. Okay. So just a little plug there for Catholic radio. We need to keep it going strong. If you listen to Teresa Tomeo this morning, you would realize we've got a lot of things we're dealing with, a lot of fake news and fake media and things that are happening. It's not good, folks. And we got to stay informed as Catholic Christians. But let's talk about relationships today, shall we? Here's the number, 833-288-3986.
Yeah, I want to mention, too, a brand new program that EWTN Radio is going to begin airing. It's Mother Angelica answering the call. And Father Joseph Mary Wolf and Doug Keck, what they do is they go through old programs with Mother Angelica, and they pull out really decades of phone calls and questions answered by Mother. And Mother gives her teaching, advice, her laughter, plenty of prayers as she takes calls from what she called her family. No subject is off limits and no problem too big for the wisdom and compassion of the one and only Mother Angelica. And there is another special preview of that program today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so please be sure to tune in 3 p.m. Eastern Time today for another preview of Mother Angelica answering the call right here on EWTN Radio.
Boy, that water you drank hit you hard. I can hear it.
Yeah, like I said, it must have gone down the wrong tube or something and didn't have my sippy cup on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You poor thing. We don't need to call 911, do we?
Not now. When it happened, I was kind of thinking it might be the end, but no.
No, you're going to bounce back. You're strong, Jerry Usher, strong. You can make it through that water. Okay, folks, phone lines are just starting to light up. That's a good sign. That means you want to talk about relationships. We can talk about what's going on in your life with those really important relationships that you care about, or some that are more difficult, high maintenance relationships, toxic relationships. We can talk about relationships because Jerry and I are both life coaches, and we talk about relationships with our clients all the time. And it's a good thing. We process things out, and we like to do that with a Catholic perspective. So the number to dial to get on the show, you do not have to be Catholic to call in. If you have a relationship that you'd like to highlight or talk about, please call us. This is a safe worldwide platform. It's been building for almost 6 years, and we've get the best feedback from our listeners that they feel comfortable, they like calling in, they look forward to calling in. And so we invite you to dial 833-288-3986.
You know, one of the best parts about this program over the nearly 6 years, as Debbie pointed out, is that you share what is going on in your life, your takes, your lived experiences, your wisdom, and there are people listening who are right in the same position, the same situation that you are in. Maybe what you share today about a relationship will help somebody else who's going through the same thing. So let's definitely talk about this. 833-288-3986. Ryan Penny has already started to screen calls, but we do have a couple of phone lines still open. So if you want to grab one to ensure that you get on today's show, it's 833-288-3986.
And social media, Jerry, don't forget about that. You can weigh in on YouTube and Facebook. Jerry and I are waving to you right now. You can see Jerry's halo. It looks like a halo over his head. And I've got my heart shirt on because why? We're talking about relationships, right? Love is in the air, relationships. Okay, so we try to dress the part as well as go out there and speak that Christian message on the radio. So you can leave your comment on YouTube or Facebook, and Jeff Burson will get that as well. You can also email us, take2@EWTN.com, or you can text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response. Put your first name in, how you are listening, what radio station, and then your question or comment. But Jerry, I think it's going to be a great show. It always is. Every month that we have done the All About Relationships on Take Two. So please join us. When we come back, we're going to hit the phone and we're going to talk about your relationship. 833-288-3986.
Divine Intimacy Radio.
The greatest joy in my life is helping others to come to know Christ more fully. And there's no better light on this path, the path to deep union with God, than the wisdom of the saints. Talking about this daily on EWTN Radio is one of the great joys of my life.
Divine Intimacy Radio, Sunday, 6:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
He is honored by the Church as one of the greatest enemies of clergy sexual abuse.
Matthew Bunson and the Doctors of the Church.
In his time, St. Peter Damian fought against the many vices of contemporary clergy, especially sexual abuses among the clergy. In 1051, he wrote the Book of Gomorrah that is still considered essential reading for fighting abuse today. He died in 1072.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
Now we have a thought from Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar. The higher your faith, the less you have to analyze, because you just accept. You just accept. You know Jesus. He comes to you. He comes to you in disguised form. And the disguised form is pain, people, imperfection, suffering, health, weather, opportunities, work, the whole blessed thing. And all of this together is God. Jesus in disguise. Mother's perpetual calendar is available at EWTNRC.com.
Thank you for being here with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And we're ending another week of broadcast. My, oh my, this week seemed to fly by, at least for me. Hope it's been a blessed week for you. And every week, speaking of every week, EWTN Radio posts over 60 podcasts to the website. That's 11 every weekday. So you never have to miss your favorite EWTN program, and they're all free. So just go to EWTN.com/radio/podcasts to listen and subscribe.
Wow, that's good. I love podcasts. Okay, so if you want to join this conversation, all you have to do, let me just share this with you because sometimes when people are a little hesitant to call into a live radio show. So here's how it works. You're going to dial this number, 1-833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Ryan is going to answer the phone. He is incredible. He's so good to talk to. He's going to chat with you a few minutes. Get your city where you're from, your name, and the station that you're listening to. And then he's going to put you on hold, but you get to listen live. So you're listening to the previous conversation, and then you just get to slip right in, just like if you were in our virtual living room. Okay? It's very enjoyable. You'll love it. But we're talking about relationships today. So if you want to bring up a relationship, any type of relationship, you can even talk about how much you love your four-legged friend that lives in your house. Okay, mine is named Gracie. She's amazing, unconditionally loving, beautiful Maltese. You can talk about any type of relationship you want to. 833-288-3986. But don't get started with your weekend yet. We need your help.
Okay, lines are filling up. A couple still open there. And Cindy is first. Cindy is listening on the Station of the Cross in Rochester, New York. Hi, Cindy. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. Thank you.
Sure.
How are you?
Doing well, Cindy. Hope you are as well.
Yeah. My first relationship I just want to mention is my new granddaughter, and that's a beautiful relationship. So that's the positive. And then I just, there's just a few different ones that I could have talked about, but I chose to talk about one with my pastor. Mm-hmm. And it just, from the very get-go, it just seems like there's been miscommunication and just not being able to reconcile or not being able to talk to him, and I really don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I've tried a couple of times, but he just gets very much on the defensive, and I don't know. I feel like I stepped on his toes somehow, but yet, the very beginning thing, my father-in-law was in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And I called the rectory to see about visitation, and they just said, well, you go to the chaplain of the hospital. And so, there was another priest, in the diocese that used to be at our parish, and I ended up, just calling him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't. Can you hear Cindy? Okay, Cindy, come say that again.
Yeah, I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Okay. I did ask another priest, and if he would go visit my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Cindy, we're starting to lose you a bit, but I think I got the gist of what's happening. So let me just make a couple comments. First of all, on your granddaughter, congratulations. Oh, what a beautiful addition to the family. It's so great to be a grandparent because you never have to have all the pressures of being a parent, right? As a grandparent, it's all fun. So way to go, Cindy. But with your pastor, it sounds like maybe there was a little miscommunication. Maybe he was a little bit offended, or he was taken back by something. That happens. I worked in the parish level for over 25 years. Is that right? Yeah. But wow, a long time. Many parishes I worked at, and that can happen. A miscommunication, or the pastor feels like somebody maybe went around them or went to somebody else and didn't come to him, and that type of thing. I've always found that the best way to handle things like that is to send a little card to the pastor, or to actually meet with the pastor and actually come right out and say, Father, I want to hit the reset button. We didn't get started, off right, or things are going in a strange direction. I don't like the feeling. I want to feel close to my pastor. Always express what you want and what you feel. I want to feel close to my pastor. I want to have a great relationship, a respectful and good relationship with my pastor. Can we do that? Because, and there's that that always kind of starts it over and resets it, and it can really help. The defenses do go up. Priests are human beings. They have their feelings. Their feelings can get hurt. They are not sure, sometimes who they can get close to or trust or whatever. And it's tough too to be on from their receiving end. But I always suggest that. I think it's better to try that first before going to another parish. I know that a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to leave the parish. But I would suggest trying to see if you can come to hit the reset button with your pastor first before, maybe going to a different church, different Catholic church. What do you think, Jerry?
I cannot disagree with any of that. The thought that I had was maybe just, I don't know if saying take a step back is the right way to put it, but just sort of, just appreciate Father for his ministry, thank him for his homilies after Mass, say hi, greet him when you pass him and so forth. But as far as anything else, I would say, Debbie's advice to sit down with him is probably the best thing to do. Other than that, like I said, I just think that, let it sit for a while, let it rest, and just affirm him and say you're praying for him, and he gives great homilies and stuff like that after Mass. What do you think, Cindy, about, first of all, what Debbie was sharing?
I think the one thing she said were to send a note first and to talk about reset. I like that wording because I have tried a few different times of meeting with him, because this has been ongoing for a couple years, and it just seems like it just keeps being perpetuated, and for some reason he has the feeling that I don't like him, and that's just not true. I don't like some of the things he does or did, but, as far as especially feeling like I, went out of my bounds when I did ask about somebody coming. That was the beginning of it. I did ask about somebody coming to see my father-in-law, and then, they said to go to the chaplain who isn't, who could not give communion. You know what I mean? They can't do that. Right. So I went ahead and, then I asked, the priest that I knew, and he came and stuff. So that was all, that I had done. But then also, too, when it was time for my father-in-law's funeral, we had the priest that we were closer to. And that raised, it again. His,
right.
I'm not sure what you call it, his anger or whatever. And it just seems like I have not been able to talk to him. Anytime I've tried to talk to him, he talks over me, and it just hasn't been good. But I think what you're saying as far as writing a card and saying reset, I'm going to give it one more chance, Good.
Good.
I won't leave the parish because I don't believe, my personal opinion is, you don't throw away the bathwater, what I mean? You don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Right. And, we have so much connection there, been there for 40 years and, been very involved up until recently.
Right.
So,
well, Cindy, when you send that card and you're writing out that card and using the word reset, ask your guardian angel too to assist you in communicating the words that are really going to pierce his heart, that are really going to go right to his heart. Because, as we all are, let's face it, when we get hurt or our defenses go up, what do? We start to protect, we put the walls around our heart because we don't want to, we don't know how to feel with that person. And we just want to get through that. And we're in a world right now where there's too many walls going up around people's hearts and they're not really seeing things clearly. We need to get through those walls, and we can do that with the help of the guardian angel. So Cindy, I would encourage you to take your guardian angel when you write out that card, okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're
very welcome.
Keep us posted. We'll be praying, okay, Cindy?
I will. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the phone call getting us started here. Our first call right there with Cindy on our All About Relationship show on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You can grab that open phone line at 833-288-3986 as we go to Melissa in Livonia, Michigan. And she is a first-time caller to the program. Hi, Melissa. Good to have you with us.
Hi. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Good.
Good. So what can we do for you?
Well, I have a question. I come from a large family, and, we all have our differences and things like that. And, of course, Mom has already passed, and my dad's gone, too. But, and, of course, we don't get together like in my mind, in my heart, I'd love to get together with all the family, but it's just one of those things where kind of most of us have our own individual families. But my other question is that my one sister and I, we've grown up and, we're relatively close, but we've had our differences. She's caused some, damage to my family, but I've forgiven her for all that stuff. But my husband, we used to hang around with them when we were younger with our kids and stuff, and her husband was very abusive to the point where he thought it was joking, but he would criticize my husband in a so-called joking manner, like using him as the butt of his jokes all the time. And then my sister was, would rally behind him, of course, and, things like that. So my husband's he was to the point where he was just, I don't want to deal with him anymore. And now, it's been many years, and they've moved, and I'd like to visit her, and he just refuses. He just doesn't really want me to even go to that point. So, do I keep working on my husband to get him to go visit, even though he's like, I don't want to deal with them? And he goes, I go, well, why do you hate them? He goes, I don't hate them, because I just don't want to deal with them anymore. So I don't know what to do, because I love my sister and I, care about my brother-in-law, but at the same time, do I follow my husband's wishes and just let it go and just talk to her on the phone? Or do I, push it?
Do you want to go first, Jerry?
Well, just a couple thoughts that I had, Melissa. One, I think that when someone is like you use the word abusing your husband verbally anyway, in that sort of way, and maybe psychologically and emotionally, that can be, a sign of somebody's insecurities. Maybe he sees something in your husband that he doesn't have in himself, a character trait, a virtue, something like that. But of course, Debbie and I are certified life coaches, and we talk a lot with our clients about boundaries. Boundaries are very important. And I know, Debbie, you can talk to that much more than I can. But, there is no obligation to put ourselves into an environment where we're going to be experiencing that. If your husband gets to the place where, he's comfortable again going there, that may be something you can do. But I think for now, you've got to certainly, honor your husband's wishes, and that's your first obligation right there. Yeah, Debbie, what do you think?
Right.
Well, and I agree with Jerry. It's clear that your husband needed to put up those boundaries to protect himself from being hurt any longer by your brother-in-law. But here's the thing: people change, people grow, they learn, people get older. They want to have those family relationships. People gravitate towards their family as they get older. Most folks do. Melissa, I would also explore this. Okay, ask your husband if he would be willing to write a joint letter, you and your husband, to your sister and your brother-in-law. And I don't mean air out all the, past experiences and everything, but just say, listen, in the past, we didn't always, get along. Things were said, that hurtful feelings, hurtful comments. And as long as we would like to move forward, we would like to have a great relationship, we would like to have a bright future. We just want to make sure all four of us feel loved, appreciated, valued, and respected. And we want that. We want that for the family. See if your husband is maybe willing to do something like that. I don't suggest writing in the letter as specific examples. And if your sister or brother-in-law come back and say, well, give me an example, say that's in the past. We just want to let it go. We just want to make sure from this point forward we have a great relationship. What do you think?
I don't, unfortunately, at this time, because I've talked to him about it, he goes, because it's funny, my sister has certain tendencies. She's kind of got a personality of a narcissist a little bit, and her personality is very domineering and stuff like that. And when it comes out, he can't even stand the way she talks. It grates on him, because I'll be talking and he can hear over the phone. He just goes, just go away, don't talk. He's still at that point where he's just very negative. He doesn't want to deal with them, and I understand that, but for me, it's like, I don't know. it's not that he hasn't forgiven them, because he has. It's just he can't deal with it. And for me, it's like, well,
right.
I can deal with her. I can like let it go in one ear and out the other. I don't let it faze me anymore. It used to when I was younger, but doesn't anymore. So I'm just like, well, I guess, like I said, I just have to continue to honor my husband's wishes and just deal with it and let it go and just pray about it, because that's
right. And ask your guardian angels to help out there with all four of you. But here's the other thing. You and your husband, you have a sacramental marriage, I presume. Okay, you and your husband need to protect that marital bubble at all costs. Okay, your birth sister is your birth sister, but your husband is your husband. And you two are there to get each other to heaven, and that's key. So, Melissa, we hope that helps. But keep us posted as well. You can always email us at take2@EWTN.com. Melissa, thanks for sharing your story with us. We'll be right back with more of your relationships.
The words of Blessed Carlo Acutis.
Our goal must be infinite, not finite. The infinite is our homeland. Heaven has been waiting for us forever.
This Easter season, read for faith, read for truth, read for life by giving yourself the gift of EWTN's National Catholic Register. Easter inaugurates a joyous season of hope and renewal that brings us closer to God. Gain a deeper understanding of His love and providence in reading the Register. Make this Easter season even more meaningful. Try the Register for free today and get it delivered to your home, office, or parish. To get your 6 free issues, order online at ncregister.com/radio or call 800-421-3230 and mention code RADIO. That's ncregister.com/radio or call 800-421-3230 and mention code RADIO. The National Catholic Register. Read faithfully.
I firmly believe that prayer is communication with God. And if we know that God is a loving Father, why wouldn't we want to talk to God? The reality is we've got to talk to our family, we've got to talk to our friends, and if God is real, and God is definitely real, He wants to hear about our day. He also wants to know how we're doing and what our needs are. Prayer is communication with God.
Monday on More to Life, decluttering.
Are frustrations and problems cluttering up your life? We'll help you declutter.
That's Monday on More to Life. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
So good to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. I believe Debbie mentioned at the start of the show team, Michael, Jeff, and Ryan, they are in place right now. Thank you, affiliates, for carrying the program. We appreciate that so much. And thank you, Take Two family, for coming through again today, as you always do, as we near 6 years of airing the program. We thank you for being a part of it. We're talking all about relationships today, and we'd love to hear if you have a relationship you would like to discuss, maybe try and bring to a better place. You can certainly call us, 833-288-3986. And David is next in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, listening on Sirius XM 130. First-time caller. Hi, David. Welcome.
Hi. I was calling. My wife passed away in October of last year, so it's been a little over 6 months that she passed away.
Sorry about
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I got a real breakthrough in January where, obviously you can spend the rest of your life, processing a precious loved one, with a wife, and we had a very good marriage, and my family loved her. I loved her, of course. And so I decided, though, in January, she'd gone through a long cancer battle, and about 7 years. But anyway, I decided in January I would just explore different dating sites like Catholic Chemistry. And so I was on the dating site, and I got a contact in late February. And it's interesting, I won't go into the story but I actually had a dream about this person, a very vivid dream. It even had the Mother of God in it. It's always a good dream when she's in the dream. And but I won't go into the dream. But that this person would contact me, and a week later they did. Even the name of the person and everything was in my dream. I know that sounds strange, but anyway.
No.
So anyway, we hit it off really well. It was very unlikely that she was even going to contact me, which again, for reasons I won't go into because it takes too much time. But she's a former actress and model, and now she does real estate, and she's a beautiful lady, and but we're just friends. And she's going through her annulment, and it's not quite done. So we're more like brother and sister, of course, right now until her annulment's completed. But anyway, I started sharing some of that information on the threads, the different internet, or the threads that you do on the
social media,
with your phone. Yeah, social media. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I just share a photo here or there, or I'm going to. She lives in California, Southern California, so I'm going there to see this person. Well, anyway, but not very much. I kept it actually pretty closed, where no one, even though I did share with some family members on the phone about the relationship. Anyway, this last time that I did share a photo, and that was really the first photo that I actually shared with the family on the family thread, I got some really surprising reactions. One of them was that one of the people, they said I did some background research on this person, and they're not who they say they were. And they didn't do that. They didn't say that to me one-on-one. They said it to the entire family thread, Mm-hmm. And all of that's not true, because this person really was an actress. I mean, I'm not going to go into all that detail. I'm just saying she accused her of not being this person that she really is. And there's ways of checking that out, and every one of those is true. And I, of course, have been there. I went and visited her. Her story completely is valid. She had been one of the Double Mint girls, on the Double Mint Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Well, I can't find that commercial on the internet. Well, actually, I have this person on the internet. It's not everything is on the internet, right? I mean, anyway, someone thought in the family that they'd be a little Sherlock Holmes and do some background information. I don't know if it was jealousy that caused this person, for reasons I won't go into, to attack me and attack her, besmirch her reputation. When, again, I'm just getting to know her. We're friends, right? Anyway.
So, David, what do you just curious, David, for the sake of time and other callers, we appreciate, this is a beautiful story as it's unfolding here. And is there like one sort of key area issue, the question that you might have, or, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like my family is trying to isolate me and say, well, we're hurt because we still haven't processed the loss of your wife. So even though you have, because we haven't, you don't have a right to share your relationship on this thread or with us in general.
Right. Okay, so David, everybody, as you know, grieves at a different pace, at a different level. The grieving process is very unique. It's very personal. I would suggest that you keep all things with this new relationship or friendship that you have with this gal. I keep it off the internet. Keep it off social media. It's not that I'm sure you were trying to, celebrate that there's another person that you can talk to and stuff like that, but people don't take it that way. So I would proceed slowly like you're doing, because she's, you're really not, in the Catholic faith, able to date her. She's in the middle of an annulment and stuff like that. So the friendship, let it evolve slowly. And be cautious, but I would keep it off of social media. And the other thing I would do too is just acknowledge where your family's coming from. Everybody grieves differently. It's a different pace. And just say, I understand it. Maybe I shouldn't have put anything up there. You know what? It's just a friendship. And downplay it and move on, because people can get really strange when it comes to grief, and they can hold on to it for many years to come. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have healing and hope and continue on. But David, if you listen to the show, I know you're a first-time caller, but we keep a book of our Take Two family, the living and those that have gone on for their heavenly rewards, God willing. David, if you would feel comfortable giving us your wife's first name, we'll happily enter her into the book.
Oh, Elizabeth with a Z.
Beautiful. But what do you think about that? Yeah. Just kind of taking it off of social media.
Everything you said was fine. Now, this is a question I have. I have nephews and nieces, most of whom just say, hey, thanks for sharing that, And so I wanted to create a thread just for the nephews and nieces. And my family that has problems were offended by that. They said, well, no, you can't have your own thread where you have family members that support you and people that you can share with. You don't even have a right to do that. And that's controlling. I don't appreciate that at all. I think I understand the respect part, but I think also at some point, I think this is a place where the family needs to grow in, okay? I think our family, because no one's ever lost a spouse in my family, among my siblings, and had to, work through that. And I think I need to challenge my family just a little. I don't mean run over their feelings. I don't mean, just act like a bull in a china store.
Right.
But I also think that the family needs to grow a little bit.
Well, absolutely. But David, you can do that in a very gentle way. All you have to say is, hey guys, I love you all. You're my family. You're beautiful. But Elizabeth was my wife. And I lost my wife, Elizabeth. So when I'm sharing a little bit of happiness, share it with me. That's all you have to do, is kind of enlighten them a bit and gently move them in that direction. But I agree with you. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think, Jerry?
Thank you.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I agree with everything that Debbie said. I think you could also say to them something like, it's not like I'm not grieving. Maybe they're looking at you thinking, how could you possibly be looking for another relationship so soon after Elizabeth has passed away? Well, like Debbie said, people grieve at different paces. We did a show, David, here some months ago where we titled it, the theme of the show was people who have lost spouses who, because they loved them so much and there was so much grieving and emotion in losing them that they couldn't possibly ever get married again. And we had full phone lines. So there are people out there who are like that. And I've known other people in your situation, David, where, they've lost a spouse and within a year or a reasonable period of time, they have been remarried again. And obviously, as Debbie said, and you pointed out, you're going through this properly. She's got the annulment process going. So as you said, you can't have the kind of relationship that maybe you would want, but as Debbie said, let it organically grow into a friendship first, and of course, always keep Jesus at the center of it. If both of you and this lady have your eyes firmly fixed on Jesus, He will do what's necessary, if it's His will, to make this relationship work out for you. So,
I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much. That's good advice. And I've shared some of those things, but they seem to fall on deaf ears. I haven't certainly said it the way you said it, Debbie. Hey, that was my wife. It's not your wife. It was my wife that passed away. And I need to, and I'm, So anyway, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, David. Keep us posted, okay? Take two at EWTN.com, and if there's anything else we can help with, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where are we going next, Jer?
We are going to Parkersburg, West Virginia to talk to Frank, who is listening on Light of Life Radio. Hi, Frank. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Frank.
Hi. Hope everybody's having a good day.
So far, so good.
I've talked to a lot of friends and other people about it. I have they say that it's very important to have a good relationship with our Creator. But where I've got difficulty is, how do you have a relationship without interacting with them? How can you have a relationship?
Okay. Go ahead. You go first.
Well, I had something
I
had something very simple to say, and that is you can't really have a true relationship, even with God, if you're not, as you said, interacting or spending time with God, because God is not just our creator, but He is our Father. We've been, we've become His sons and daughters through adoption. And it's said all the time, Frank, that if you have a person in this life, say someone you feel called to maybe marry someday, and if you don't spend time with them, if you don't say you love them, if you don't do things, beautiful acts of kindness and love for them, that relationship's not going to go anywhere. So you will always, in a sense, you'll always be in a relationship with God because He created you. He's your Father. But you want to nurture that relationship. And the best way to do that is, if you're Catholic, receive the sacraments, spend time in prayer, and just listen. Spend time listening to God sometimes. Just take a little bit of quiet time and say, Father, I know you exist. I believe in you. I love you. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear you speak to me of your love for me and of your will for me. So those are just a few thoughts that I had.
Great thoughts. And I just want to add a little bit to that, Frank, and that is, in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, we are created to know, love, and serve God. Well, how do you love and serve a God that you don't really know, right? And how do you get to learn about God and know God? Through Scripture, through His living Word. Okay, so through Scripture, you develop an understanding, a knowing of God. The Church Fathers, our history, rich in history in the Catholic faith. And then, as Jerry said, if you're Catholic, receiving the sacraments, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in the most holy Eucharist, spending time in front of the Blessed Sacrament, talking, praying with God, singing to God, Frank, using His most holy name, Jesus. How about Jesus, we trust in you? All these ways of communing with God, getting to know God, deepens our love for God and then our ability to go out there and to serve God and His people. It is really that simple of a recipe. And the more we dive into it, the more we make a conscious effort, you just know deep in your spirit, Frank, that you are having that connection. You have that commitment. It's there. You can just feel it. In fact, words can't even describe it. So that's what I would say, Frank. What do you think?
Well, it sounds simple to you, but it's really not really simple to me. I try to understand through association. That's the way I try to understand things. And I never knew my biological father. He was killed in the war. And the only thing I knew was what my mother had said. Supposedly he was a good dancer and a good dresser. I remember her saying that. But, I can take that as, it's credible to me. But with our Creator, it's a little more difficult for me to understand our Creator.
Mm-hmm. Well, brother, I can tell you we share one thing in common, and that is I did not have a relationship with my biological father either. My parents divorced when I was 7, and our mother didn't purposely keep us away from him, but the effort to let us see him was just never really that strong or motivated. So that develops what sometimes is called a father wound. And the thing is, Frank, fatherhood on earth, whether it's biological fatherhood of men and women, men with women who have children, or if it's spiritual fatherhood like our priests and so forth, that is all of fatherhood derives from God's fatherhood. And so it's important that we try to get over whatever obstacles that we have. And it sounds like you have that issue of maybe a father wound. Are you Catholic, Frank?
Well, I was raised Catholic, but I cannot consider myself Catholic.
Okay. Well, you were raised Catholic. You certainly know that the saints are there. I'm sure you've heard of the communion of saints and asking the saints in heaven to help us. And this year, Frank, this is a year of Saint Joseph. All this year, we are celebrating Saint Joseph in a particular way, and he was really the ideal model of fatherhood and being the good husband, and of course the head of the Holy Family. So I would encourage you, Frank, even if you don't know, what to say to St. Joseph, just ask for his help. St. Joseph, help me to understand God as my Father. St. Joseph, help me to understand God as my Father. And let that soak in. Let it take as much time as you need to. And I think, Debbie, Frank will see eventually, this inability, if you will, to relate to God, I think will start to melt away.
Yeah, and you'll get a very clear vision of it, Frank. And the other thing I would suggest, too, is when I talked about scripture, Psalm 91, Frank, you have a guardian angel right next to you. Your guardian angel's there to illuminate your mind and strengthen your will. Ask your guardian angel to help you to see clearly and to feel connected to God. Because remember, your guardian angel beholds the face of God at the same time ministering to you. So that's a direct connection to the face of God, Frank. We're going to pray that for you because you're a loving soul. You have called before to this show. We so value your membership to the Take Two family, and we're with you, Frank. You can email us anytime, okay? Take2@EWTN.com. Okay, Frank?
Yeah, well, thank you for your help.
Absolutely.
You're very welcome.
We want to walk with you, Frank. You're not alone, okay?
All right, Frank, thank you for the call. You just answered a YouTube question, Debbie, from Patrick. He says, can you learn who your guardian angel is and can you form a relationship with them?
Yes,
so you
absolutely.
just touched upon that, yeah.
I did, yeah, absolutely. When you say learn who your guardian angel is, your guardian angel was handpicked for you uniquely by God himself, okay? I do not recommend you trying to seek out a name for your guardian angel. Please just call your guardian angel Holy Angel or Guardian Angel. Say the Guardian Angel prayer in the morning and the evening, because God has already given your guardian angel a name, okay? And sometimes, remember, Satan is a fallen angel, and now he's a demon, right? A devil. And so he can trick and play with our mind. We don't want that. So your pure relationship with your guardian angel needs to stay that way, and it's very respectful relationship. But yes, saying the guardian angel prayer, raising awareness that your guardian angel is there by saying, I know you're right next to me. I know you're with me. I know you're my biggest cheerleader, my biggest bodyguard and soul guard. Yes, that allows them to do their ministry work with you. And their mission by God is to get you to heaven. That's their mission. That's what they're trying to do. So it's a great person to help you along the way.
Real quickly, the Miracle Hunter with Michael O'Neill, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And this week, Michael interviews Miguel Sancho. He's an author of More Than You Can Handle, A Rare Disease, A Family in Crisis, and the Cutting-Edge Medicine That Cured the Incurable. And also Brett Toman, author of Padre Pio and the Pandemic, Disciple of Our Lady of Sorrows. That's the Miracle Hunter with Michael O'Neill, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on many of these EWTN stations.
Great. Where are we going next, Jer?
Next up is Paul. Paul is in Waterford, New York, listening on Pax et Bonum Radio and a first-time caller to Take Two. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, how's it going there?
Great.
Well.
We're blessed. How are you?
Very blessed. I actually, in pursuit of the deacon or priesthood, whatever formation I fall into, I was actually calling EWTN to see if there's any, just to get some feelers out there to see if there's any online training to move forward,
To move forward with...
I work for...
You're talking about to move forward in...
Hold on, I'm getting to the relationship thing.
Okay.
Well, we'll get right to the relationship thing. So the phone call was a mistake, and then they asked me if I had anything to say about relationships. Well, here's the thing. I had a wonderful, wonderful experience with my wife this morning and yesterday. We're an older couple. I'm 59 years old, and, as you get older, the intimacy, it's not the same, and the closeness, it just kind of fades away. And just being honest here, it puts a struggle on the marriage. And, we just had a little problem with my wife. They found tumors in her toes. And so it's been a little bit of challenge, so it actually kind of brought us closer together. And this is the amazing thing I want to share, because, you know, she saw me taking care of her, and all of a sudden she said, you know, when I first met you, I thought God brought you to me. And here's the amazing thing. I thought the same thing about her. But I guess I just wanted to get this out there for people who are struggling in their marriage later in life. Really, the key to keeping it fresh is to go back to the beginnings. Go back to those early memories that you had when you first met, when your first kiss and your first dance. You got to go back there, because when you're up in age in marriage, you start to lose the zest for marriage, and it's such a wonderful gift God's given us to have.
Paul, forgive me, Paul, but for the sake of time, we got about a minute and a half or so, and we're going to hear the closing music for the program. But I think you're mentioning something that is very, very important. It's critical. I've never been married, but one doesn't have to be to understand this. And that it's the same with all relationships. You know, you want to never lose the first fervor that you had, that first love. Like you said, you looked at your wife and you thought, God brought her to me. And she said, you know, the same thing about you. And that's true, Paul. You know, God brings people together like that. And he wants those relationships to be lasting, lifelong relationships, God willing. And so, Debbie, I think he's pointed to something very important here.
He did. And Paul, you tapped into something we use all the time in life coaching, and that is to keep it fresh in our relationships, okay? Each and every time you see your spouse, okay, every time they walk into the kitchen or walk down the hallway, be thinking to yourself, wow, they're right here. They're right here. They're right in front of me. I get to see them again. I get to be with them again, because we're not promised anything in the future. At any moment, any one of us can be called home. And so it's important for us each and every time we encounter each other, we realize that these precious souls that were brought into our life, it is an amazing experience and a chance for us to appreciate it each and every time like it's brand new. You tapped into something beautiful, Paul. Hold on to that with you and your wife. And each time you see your wife, do that kind of, aha, she's here. She's right in front of me. It's a good feeling, and it produces good effects in the marital relationship. Paul, I think you hit a home run with that one.
Yeah, Paul, thanks for the call. Cody in Palm Springs, California. I apologize, brother. We're not going to get to you on the air, but you're most welcome to email us at take2, the number 2. I think it works with the number or the word, take2@EWTN.com. So, Cody, please feel free to do that if you would like to correspond with us.
And we didn't even get to all the comments, the emails, the text messages. Sorry, you guys, we're reading everything, but you're going to hear the music. There it is, right on time. On Monday, we're going to be talking about, it's Monday, but it's a whole year of Mondays. Are you feeling really run down, tired, exhausted over the past year?